Hey, welcome to Retro Pickups for the Week. It's me, your friend from school. No more reproduction Nintendo 64 games for me because I went ahead and bought myself a Nintendo 64 flash cart called ED64PRO. So this is the newest one and most compatible, although that's questionable. It uses micro SD cards. So you put all your games on the micro SD. So I've spent a couple weeks with this now, testing out different ROMs, and it does everything I want it to do, but there's some setup that you need to do. I've modified it with alternate firmware files, and we're going to talk about that. Let's plug this in. Alright, so let's talk about this a bit. This is an ED64PRO. But I very much suspect that it's exactly the same as an ED64 Plus, just with a different name, and it's a little bit more expensive, even though it seems to be identical hardware-wise. However, the firmware that ships with it seems to be very good and pretty unique, because I've tried different firmwares. Any firmware that works with the ED64 Plus will work on this, so it seems to be exactly the same hardware. But the difference is the built-in firmware has very, very good compatibility, and it detects the settings for your game automatically. There's different lockout chips per game, and the firmware that came with this cart knows which lockout chip to use on each game automatically. I wanted to test ROM hacks. I wanted to test 64DD games. The stock firmware works with everything except the 64DD games, which is where this next part comes in. Alternate firmware. So you'll see in here, I actually have two ED64 folders. There's actually 3 firmwares in here. One of the firmware boots automatically when the cart is turned on, and that one is this one called OS64P. This file boots automatically. Any file named OS64P.v64 and is located in this folder, ED64P, will boot automatically. I have some alternate firmware files in here. ED64 is the non-plus version of the firmware, I guess, but this does boot 64DD games. So basically the way this is set up is most games play with the stock firmware just fine. There's a special setup for WWF No Mercy, and I'll talk about that in a minute. If I want to play a 64DD game, I load into this ED64 folder and I load this file, OS64, and I can play 64DD games. And I'll show you where to get these things. Everything's going to be in my video description, and you will have links to everything you need to get this set up. Okay, so let's talk about WWF No Mercy. WWF No Mercy is one of those games that uses flash memory to save. But this game is difficult for flash cards to run for some reason. Set the flash memory, but it won't boot if you just start the game. There is a modified save file for WWF No Mercy floating around on the internet somewhere. It's actually really hard to find. There's a link to it that's preserved on the Internet Archive that you can still download. But I will put a link to the file in my video description. But what you need to do is make sure that the save file is named the same as the ROM file. See, mine here is WWF-No Mercy NA Revision 1. The save file for this must go in ED64P under save, not SD save, but save. And if you look in here, these are all the save files I have already. One of them is there, WWF No Mercy NA Revision 1.FLA, the flash memory. So if that file exists and it's the modified one that I will link to, then WWF No Mercy will launch. So let's try it out. Here it is, WWF No Mercy. And it does save. And I will prove it. I will create one real quick. I'll call him Hicks, I guess. Alright, decision, save. Alright, there he is. His name is Hicks. If I reset the system, oh, that's another thing. To save your game, you must hit the reset button. If you just power off, your save will disappear forever. So I'm going to reset. Alright, WWF No Mercy. Let's see if our saved wrestler Hicks is still there.
SmackDown Mall.
And there he is, Hicks. All right, so that works. Let's try out the 64DD game, shall we? If I try to load a 64DD game under this stock firmware, I have the English patched version of Mario Paint. I'll go ahead and start that. 64DD games are large, so they take longer to load. And that's it, we get a black screen. It doesn't start. Boo! All right, so if we load up this alternate firmware under ED64, OS64.v64, it's going to load another menu. So I'm going to load the 64DD folder, and we'll find that Mario Paint English. So you got to load the Z64. If I press C up, it'll tell me which one it is. So it's got to be the Z64. If you only have a Z64, it creates that N64 file. I'm not sure why it does that, but the game does run. See, 64DD Mario Paint Studio. You know, we can play a 64DD game on the Nintendo 64 without the 64DD. Very cool. So there it is. 64DD Mario Artist. Very cool. As far as I know, 64DD games do not save, actually. It's just a limitation of using the cart conversion of the 64DD games. I really wanted to do unreleased games and betas, so we got some of those, including a very popular one called Dinosaur Planet, which is an unreleased game that Rare was working on that eventually turned into Star Fox Adventures on the GameCube. So this is a modified version of the ROM that was leaked. And we have Dinosaur Planet for Nintendo 64. As far as I know, this is still not in a state where it can be played from start to finish, but it's still real interesting to try out, see what could have been. Yeah, I think I just fall forever right here. I'm not sure what's up with this ROM. If you press the D-pad though to the left, this menu will come up. Let's see, you can do different things. Swampstone Hollow. So here we are in an area of the game. You know, we got sword attacks. You can swap in foxes because they were changing it to Star Fox. Even on the Nintendo 64, they were changing it to Star Fox. So you can patch in the Star Fox model. See, now I'm Star Fox. The Nintendo 64 model for Star Fox. So even though it's not all connected, you can play a lot of it. A lot of sound effects are missing. I don't think there are any sound effects in the game. Okay, so let's talk about one more thing. So another cool thing about having games on a ROM cart is that you can alter the games in a certain way. See, you can turn off anti-aliasing on Nintendo 64 games by either a code or patching the ROM. I've patched most of my ROMs, and I'll link to the patcher that I used. But yeah, this game actually has it in the settings to just turn off the anti-aliasing. You can do it right here. So you can see that the game gets much sharper when you turn off anti-aliasing. It's more jaggy too, but overall, I think it looks better without the anti-aliasing. You see the difference? I don't know if this will come across on the video. Here it is on. Pretty blurry, actually. You can go turn it off, and there it is off. I'll do some comparative videos at the end. So let's check out a ROM hack. A really cool ROM hack is this Donkey Kong 64, the Tag Anywhere hack. We do the DK rap, featured in the Super Mario movie, in fact. Here we go. No, we're not gonna do the DK rap. Alright, so here's the thing about Donkey Kong Tag Anywhere. I'm Donkey Kong doing my thing, walking around, I'm not far enough in the game to show this, but let's just pretend I'm Donkey Kong collecting my yellow bananas, and I see a red banana. What do I do? Do I have to run back to the barrel, switch to Diddy Kong, and then go back to where I saw the red banana and collect it? No, I don't have to do that now. I can press the D-pad and I could become Diddy, and I can just grab those red bananas right now, or red coins, or red whatever. Oh, it's a blue banana. Oh, that's okay. I'll switch over to Lanky Kong, and I got it. Oh, it's a different one? Okay, I can be any Kong I want at any time. I don't have to go back to that stupid barrel. Makes this game so much better. It's just D-pad left, D-pad right. I can be any Kong I want. Here's some homebrews real quick. They have a PC ports of Doom. You know, we know there's Doom 64, but was there original Doom? There wasn't, but there is now. Here it is on the Nintendo 64. Here it is, Doom, the original Doom. It's a little choppy. It's a little choppy, actually. Very fast running, though. The music sounds like it's very fast. Oh, I ran out of ammo. That's okay. There we go. N64 Doom, the original port. So we'll look at Perfect Dark with AA removed. So I'm going to run the ROM with the original ROM, and then I'll run it with AA, and hopefully with some creative editing you'll be able to see the differences. Here we go.
Why the big hurry?
If Dr. Carroll is not extracted tonight, Datadyne will put him through mind conditioning, and we'll lose our best chance of finding out what Datadyne are up to.
Are they all expendable?
Don't joke. You have to be careful, Joanna. Code keys will only operate while the owner is alive. If you kill them, the key is useless. Armed guards are a different matter, of course.
What's the target location?
Work your way down the building to the ground level. Dr. Carroll will be in a research lab somewhere in the underground facility.
How will I recognize him?
We don't have an image record, and we can't find any official files. All we have is the name. Good luck, Dr. Dark.
ED64PRO, that's it for this episode of Retro Pickups. What do you think? N64 flashcards, pretty good, not very good. This was $85 on Amazon, but you can get them for around $55 if you can get them from AliExpress. It does everything I want it to do and more. So yeah, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to see more videos like this one. And I just want to say that 90% of the people who watch my YouTube channel are not subscribers. So maybe subscribe, that would be cool.